Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, everyone.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
It is I.
It is her.
The mighty.
The mightiest.
The tongue-tastic.
Like a tree or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
thick as a sequoia tree.
Yeah, think of those mighty trees. They exist everywhere. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She's like that.
Dodo Queen.
Dodo Queen.
And who be you, sir?
I am a Dorkasaurus Rex, and I'm only a dork because
Yes.
I like the news.
You do like the news.
Oh, I do like the news, honestly. I have tuned out the news almost like 75% from what I was doing before.
Oh, yeah?
I'm feeling a lot healthier.
The sad part is, I said I was going to tune it out this time.
Yeah?
And
How's that going?
It's not going very well.
Do you need an intervention?
I might.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I was pretty good about it today.
Oh, good.
I actually didn't read too much news today.
That's good. Well, you know, on the feeds of a lot of those scrolling apps, the fucking you get bombarded no matter where you go.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, what can you do?
But today on the news, we're going to talk about just 2 articles today. So we're going to start with more fucking plane the FAA.
I'm getting worried with how many aerial problems we're having.
Right? Trump begins firing of the FAA staff just weeks after fatal DC plane crash. The Trump administration has begun firing several hundred Federal Aviation Administration employees, upending staff on the busy air travel weekend, and just weeks after a January fatal mid-air collision at Ronald Reagan's Washington National Airport. Probationary workers were targeted in late-night emails Friday, notifying them they had been fired. David Spiro, president of the Professional Aviation Safety Specialists Union, said in a statement the impacted workers included personnel hired for FAA radar, landing, and navigational aid maintenance. One air traffic controller told the Associated Press the air traffic control was not authorized to talk to the media and spoke on condition of anonymity. I cannot say that word.
It's a hard word to say.
In a message posted to X late Monday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said fewer than 400 FAA employees were fired and 0 air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel were let go. But until how long? No,
haven't they already before that point let go a lot of those kind of people?
They had a hiring freeze from what I understood. Well, they did let people go, but I don't know exactly what position before. And then they had a hiring freeze, and now they're letting more people go.
My question is, there's got to be a point to where you start letting them go, and then stuff really starts going wrong, and people really get hurt. Are we already seeing that, or are these flukes what's happening, and what's really going to happen bad is down the line still?
A transportation department official told the AP earlier Monday that the agency has retained employees who perform critical safety functions. In a follow-up query, the agency said they would have to look into whether the radar, landing, and navigational aid workers affected were considered to be handle critical safety functions. The National Air Traffic Controllers Association, said in a brief statement Monday it was analyzing the effects of the reported federal employee terminations on aviation safety, the national airspace system, and our members. Other FAA employees who were fired were working on a urgent and classified early warning radar system the Air Force had announced in 2023 for Hawaii to detect incoming cruise missiles. Damn. Oh my God. That doesn't sound good. Through a program that was in part funded by the Defense Department. It's one of the several programs that the FAA National Airspace System Defense Program manages that involves radar radars providing long-range detection around the country's borders. Due to the nature of their work, staff in the office typically provide an extensive knowledge transfer before retiring to make sure no institutional knowledge is lost, said Charles Spitzer Stadlander,
What is with these names?
one of the employees in the branch who was terminated. The Hawaii Radar and the FAA Defense Program Office working on it are about protecting national security, Spitzer Stadlander said. I don't think they even know what NDP does. They just thought, oh, no big deal. He works for the FAA. This is about protecting national security, and I'm scared to death, Spitzer Stadlander said. And the American public should be scared too. Sparrow said messages began arriving after 7 p.m. Friday and continued late into the night. More might be notified over the long weekend or barred from entering FAA building Tuesday, he said. The employees were fired without cause nor based on performance or conduct, Spiro said, and the emails were from an exec order Microsoft email address, not a government email address. What?
So they got them to fire them with Microsoft? What?
No, it wasn't a professional government email.
Yeah,
was
it just like an MSN or whatever?
Yeah.
Message system?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that doesn't...
That kind of sounds like people who show up to say they're the police, but you think the badge is fake.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's scary.
A company of the termination email that was provided to the AP shows the sending address as ask underscore AHR underscore EXEC underscore orders at USFAA mail usaa.mail.outlook.com. But the fact that this is happening is even scarier than I thought it was.
They shut down a missile defense program?
Yeah.
Is that good? You know what? And I'm like, oh, that's okay. And then they're like, at Hawaii. I'm like, oh, wait, that's probably where we need it.
Right?
That's probably exactly the fuck where we need it.
The firing hits the FAA as it's facing a shortfall in controllers. Federal officials have been raising concerns about an overtaxed and understaffed air traffic control system for years, especially after a series of close calls between planes at the U.S. airports. Among the reasons they have cited for staffing shortages are uncompetitive pay, long shifts, intensive training, and mandatory retirements. In the January 29th fatal crash between a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter and American Airlines passenger jet, which is still under investigation, one controller was handling both commercial airlines and helicopter traffic at the busy airport. Just days before the collision, President Trump had already fired all the members of the Aviation Security Advisory Committee, a panel mandated by Congress after the 1988 Pan Am 103 bombing over Lockerbie, Scotland. I don't know if I read the name right. The committee is charged with examining safety issues at airlines and airports. Spitzer Stadlander suggested he was a target for firing for his views on Tesla and X, formerly Twitter, not part of a general probationary level sweep. Both companies are owned by Elon Musk, whose Department of Government Efficiency is leading Trump's efforts to cut the federal government. Spitzer Stadlander is Jewish and was angered by Musk's straight-arm gesture at Trump's inauguration. On his personal Facebook page, he urged friends to get rid of their Teslas and X accounts in response. Spitzer Stadlander said that post drew the attention of a Facebook account labeled Department of Government Efficiency, which reacted with a laughing emoji. Soon after, he saw the same account reacting to a much older post through his personal Facebook feed. This is really fucking creepy.
Yeah, this is weird.
There are at least a half dozen Facebook accounts labeled Department of Government Efficiency, and it's unclear who operates any of them. White House spokesman Caroline Leavitt wrote Monday on X, Doge doesn't even have a Facebook page.
What the fuck?
Spitzer Stadlander said he was supposed to be exempt from the probationary firing because of the FAA office he worked in focused on national security threats such as attacks on the national airspace by drones. Less than a week later, I was fired, despite my position allegedly being exempt due to national security, Spitzer Stadlander wrote in a post over the weekend on LinkedIn. He added, when Doge fired me, they turned off my computer and wiped all of my files without warning. Doge did not immediately respond to the request for a comment. The firings were first reported by CNN. I apologize. Yep. That is a much crazier article than I expected it to be.
Now, if you want good news, go to the AP. The AP is the source.
Yeah, wow.
Now, that's a lot to process also. I want to go back to the question of the firing of so many people. I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt. All these people need to go because they're extra weight. Are we still as safe? That's my question.
Well, obviously not if we've had so many fucking plane crashes.
Then do you think those are...
Or...
a direct result of what's happening, or is this a weird fluke? But it's been so many times, it kind of doesn't feel like one.
It's weird for them to happen because I can't remember the last accident I heard of.
The last one was when the Boeing plane came apart because they didn't use enough parts or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
that was a few years ago.
Was it a few years ago?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was totally on Boeing. It was like...
Yeah.
But it also, shouldn't the FAA have people checking these planes? I thought that was their job.
Yeah, I know, but like, they're not hiring anyone and they're letting so many people go.
That's what I mean. So like, are our airplanes going to be safe, or as they get older and start breaking down, are they going to fall apart while they're flying? And are more people going to crash because they don't have enough people like attending the...
And that's just it. That's the thing. It's not only dangerous for the people in the planes, but the areas that the planes fly over.
What if like one person tells a plane to come in too sharp and they skid into like an adjoining neighborhood or whatever? Is that even... I mean, maybe that's doomsaying, but is it impossible?
I don't know. The fact that it was done this way and then immediately afterwards there have been multiple accidents kind of freaks me out.
I want a justification for these firings. I want them to fucking tell us.
Because it's the budget.
No, I want it better than that. I really do, Like, I really do want to call my congressperson and start yelling at them. Are you going to get answers, or are you going to keep being like, oh, please, sir, could you tell us why you're being so mean? That's how the fucking Democrats are being about this shit. They're not out there with any goddamn kind of spine.
I don't know. I'm sure. So I never expected anything to happen. I thought it was just going to be people being emboldened by him just being in office, right? But I didn't expect him to do all this shit. At least I didn't hope for it, you know?
My thing is, it's not even Donald Trump doing half this shit. It's fucking Elon Musk out there running amok. It's like, can we all sign a petition to exile that motherfucker from our great land, please?
Well, that leads to the next article very perfectly because...
Oh, well, because segue achieved. You're welcome.
Because
damn, I'm good.
The anti-Musk protest movement is expected to ramp up with Congress on recess.
Before you start
this... You get to read this one.
Oh, okay, I'll read this one. Before we start this, I gotta say, when Musk started doing this stuff, I was mad.
Yeah.
Him continuing to do this stuff is fucking infuriating me, and I didn't think I could get this mad at him. But I'm really genuinely fucking mad right now.
Yeah.
When I heard there was a protest today in
Chicago.
No, in Portland. I was kind of angry I didn't go.
Yeah.
Because I honestly I'm not that kind of person at all. But I kind of want to go out there and protest. Like if I find out there's one in Eugene or something, I might just go do it.
Yeah.
Because fuck this shit. Okay. From the New York AP. Donald Trump is the president, but billionaire Elon Musk is the focus for thousands of Democrat activists launching a protest campaign this week to fight the Trump administration's push to gut the federal health, education, and human service agencies. Hundreds of protests are scheduled outside of Congress offices and Tesla dealerships, with organizations hoping to send a pointed message to members of Congress who are on recess this week. Also, they're on fucking recess. I want them working. These guys get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I don't want them on fucking recess.
Oh,
I want them in those offices writing on their goddamn papers.
Don't you know paperwork is really hard to push?
I'm seriously genuinely angry at I'm angry at my representatives. I'm angry at the people running around breaking shit.
Well, you know who the only people that aren't on break is?
Us.
Doge.
Oh, I know. Well, Doge isn't a real thing, so technically they don't need breaks.
Right?
You think about it. Well, they're going to get rid of OSHA anyways, so breaks are out the window.
Are they saying that, or are you just anticipating it?
I'm pretty sure I heard a news where they... I didn't know if they were speculating and just talking confidently, but do you doubt it?
No, well, I mean...
Wouldn't he love to get rid of OSHA?
I mean, it is on, like, a trend of it, like, getting rid of a bunch of stuff.
Think of all his factories and shit.
Yeah, well, that...
And if he had no OSHA on his back...
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, but he wouldn't do anything that's a conflict of interest.
But remember, it isn't facts, so we can't really... That's speculation if we don't know what it is.
You're right. As of today, that is speculation. But speculating? Do you doubt it?
No, I don't doubt it speculating-wise.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm surprised that it wasn't the first thing that they started with, and then they started amping it up because a lot of people would at least with unions, because a majority of people don't like unions. So,
but it's the union's fault. They make themselves seem worthless because they're always kowtowing to the corporations anyways for what, pittance?
Yeah. Well, that, and you're like paying a bunch of people. It's like you pay your taxes and then you pay another tax to fucking work, Yeah. But I get why you had to have them, but at the same time, yeah, they aren't doing their job.
No.
But yeah. Anyways.
Keep reading.
Yeah.
The backlash still hasn't approached the intensity of protests during and after Trump's first inauguration 8 years ago. But a loose coalition of Democrats and progressives is coalescing around Musk's rise as Trump's top lieutenant and his purge of the federal bureaucracy. Right? Bureaucracy? Yeah. Wow, I read it right the first time. He's a major weak link in the MAGA coalition. Ezra Levin, co-founder of the progressive group Indivisible, said of Musk, "I can't think of something that polls worse than the richest man in the world is coming after your Social Security check and your Meals on Wheels or your Head Start." Indivisible which claims more than 1,300 local chapters nationwide, is encouraging members to protest at the offices of their members of Congress, regardless of the political party. The group also offers a step-by-step guide for protesting at dealerships for Tesla, Musk's electric vehicle company. The memo encourages protesters to stay on sidewalks and public spaces and to avoid any actions that might directly interfere with the business operations, such as blocking entrances or trespassing on private property. It also calls for Tesla protesters to stay on message. This is about Musk's political takeover, not Tesla, SpaceX, or X as their companies. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is launching what he's calling a national tour to fight oligarchy, with stops in working-class districts of Iowa and Nebraska this week. Democratic National Committee Chair Ken Martin will hit the road for the first time as party leader as well. The newly elected DNC chair will travel to Pennsylvania, Texas, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Missouri in the in the coming days to meet with local Democratic officials and labor leaders. Spokesman Hannah Moldavan said, like the protests, Martin is expected to seize on Musk's role. During a meeting with labor leaders in Pittsburgh, for example, he plans to highlight Musk's recent focus on the Department of Labor, which put the integrity of data like unemployment rate and inflation rate at risk, which is important to a stable U.S. economy, by extension, working people, Moldavan said. Aware of the intense displeasure from their party's base, many House Democrats plan to be proactive. Maybe they should just fucking do it. I can't believe I just read that
sentence. It takes them 3 months just to get to become proactive.
Are they making plans to make plans?
Yeah, they're making plans to make plans.
Why do we have such spineless nerds running us? Holy shit.
Okay, the problem that I've always had with the Democrats is like they want to do everything right the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like...
They don't want to be accused of fucking up.
Yeah, so it's like... At one point, you're just fucking up more by not doing anything.
Plus, they get out there and they're like, this is their level of energy. Well, I think, what Mr. Trump is doing to the country is not something we can all agree with. It's like, oh my god, maybe turn it up to fucking 11, you dumb son of a bitch. Am I wrong? Do we have no fire on this side?
I mean, they get paid either way until the government's dismantled, but
and they say it's just so easy to put together a government once it's fallen to pieces. You know what the worst part is?
What?
Other countries aren't doing anything because they're still waiting for the right moment, so they don't believe we're at our weakest yet. What does that mean? I've been thinking about that.
Yeah, I don't like that our nation's being viewed like this poorly, like this. I mean, I know that everyone's always called America stupid, and I didn't really believe it until this point.
I can't believe it, but we've gotten to the point where Canada is openly booing our national anthem. I'm not patriotic, and even I'm like, fuck, are you serious? God damn it.
I mean, we deserve it, though, man.
That's our country right now. I'm not happy about that. And honestly...
Yeah?
Should I call my congressman and start yelling?
I mean, I wouldn't yell, but...
No,
maybe you should just write letters. Put your fucking journalism skills to work.
If I really could commit to it,
yeah,
I would cut out letters from magazines. And they'll say shit like, to whom it may concern.
Where do you get off? Yes.
And then it would just be a bunch of This is where you fucked up.
And
Your parents were probably morons.
You know the sad part about that is you probably would just like get like that serial killer font from like online and like write it in like a Word program. Then you'd print it out. Then you fucking cut it.
And then I cut it up.
Yeah.
You know, again, when you started that, I'm like, no. But you sold me the end right there. When I got to cutting it up, I'm like, because I thought you were just going to send it off like that. I'm like, lame, already thought about that. But if I print it out, then cut it up.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
It's a smart idea. Do it.
The letter would go like this.
At least it's more proactive than nothing.
Dear whomever, I am having a problem with the way the government is currently functioning. I see a lot of run-amok agencies and unactive representatives in my state currently. I am worried I will lose lots of money for my family, and we will starve to death. Is that what you want? Do you want a starved family? We're beautiful, happy, thriving human beings trying to make it in this world.
Starve the poor, leave the rich.
Oh my god. Sorry, I got kind of angry halfway through that letter. I told you, if I write a letter, it's going to be, oh man, it's going to be so angry. Maybe it'd be healthy for me to write it. Yeah. The House Democratic Policy and Communications Committee, terrible name, issued a memo ahead of the recesses instructing Democrats to embrace 9 days of visibility and said it was essential for members to host one town hall in person or via telephone and at least one community event that highlights the devastating impacts of Trump and Musk's actions. Is that enough? That doesn't sound like enough. The wave of protest comes at a critical moment as fractured Democrats struggle to stop the Republican president's purge of the federal bureaucracy, which follows thousands of layoffs inside departments focused on public health, education, Veterans Affairs, and Human Services, among others.
Really?
Firings in recent days at the Department of Veterans Affairs includes researchers working on cancer treatment, opioid addiction,
which is sad because they don't want the fentanyl to come in,
yeah,
but
right.
Then they're taking away this fucking opioid addiction. They need to fucking amp up fucking mental health issues if they want people to not abuse drugs.
They need to make mental health affordable or free because honestly, I think people need it.
Yeah, especially right now.
Too many people are joking about alcohol, and I don't think they're joking.
I'm not joking at this point.
No, actually, we've drank more than we had in the last 4 years. Honestly, I kind of want to drink now. I'll drink
we'll drink after this.
Opioid addiction, prosthetics, and burn pit exposure, according to the U.S. Senator Patty Murphy, a Democrat from Washington State. Patty Murray, a Democrat from Washington State. The cuts also include more than 5,000 employees at the Department of Health and Human Services and roughly 1/10 of the workforce at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Really? 1/10? Are we safe?
We're not. I mean, like we were saying earlier that there's been like a TB coming out, and I can't remember.
Oh, measles is back.
Oh, yeah, measles too in Florida, and I think the other one was in Kansas. I don't know. I'm not too sure of the locations, but yeah, they have not been good.
In some cases, Musk's team is trying, with Trump's blessing, but without congressional approval, to shutter entire agencies, including the U.S. Agency for International Development, the Department of Education, and U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
I haven't scroll.
Yes. Trump has defended the cuts as necessary to eliminate waste and fraud, and he has praised Musk's work with the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, saying it has found shocking evidence of wasteful spending. He signed an executive order expanding Musk's influence.
Okay, so like I would believe it more if they found shocking evidence if they were in, like, the office a little bit longer for them to find the fucking evidence.
Yeah, they find shocking evidence of corruption in exactly how many days? 1 or 2? That's confusing as fuck. That's an investigation time with, what, a squad of, like, fucking kids? Because honestly, Musk, meanwhile, has defended the swift and extensive cuts he's pushing across the federal government while acknowledging there has been mistakes. Democrats in Congress condemn the moves as dangerous, but without control of either chamber of Congress, there is little they can do to stop the Trump administration aside from turning to the courts. Still, 3 of the nation's biggest progressive groups, Indivisible, Move On, and Working Families Party, are coordinating this week's protests to send a clear message to elected officials in both major political parties that there must... Did we want to finish this?
No, I guess not. Basically,
it doesn't get it. We're it's just at the end. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, basically, they're just... People are protesting now. But people are actually getting off their asses, which we should do as well. But, like, yeah, so... That's your depressing news for now. The basic rundown is that there are protests because Elon Musk is going overboard in Chicago, and what was the other place you said?
Portland.
And they're also, the FAA has cut down on more people, and one of the people were for the National Missile Defense or whatever. What was it called?
Oh yeah, they shut down a early response missile warning in
for Hawaii. Yeah, so those are like the 2 things that are going on.
That's your depressing news, but that's just our opinion.
Yeah, be right back.